All right, so things are starting to look up in our nation's capital. And Commanders fans, damn it, you deserve this because you've endured years of hardship to get to this place of hope and optimism. So embrace it, take it in. As your franchise, the Washington Commanders, have officially reached a deal with DC to build a new $4 billion stadium. This will be a 65,000 seat stadium nestled on the site of the old RFK Stadium where the Redskins played their home games from 1961 to 1997. The stadium will have a roof, but ownership is still deciding on if that roof will be retractable or not, and they're also entertaining if the field surface will be grass or turf. Right now they're leaning towards grass, and personally I hope that they decide on grass because there's just something appealing about playing on grass. It feels earthy, it feels real, genuine, authentic. I get those grass stains, the mud stains. Like that's real football to an old school guy like me. And if you've ever played on turf, you understand the pitfalls associated with it. If you've ever gotten turf burn, you know what I'm saying. That hurts. But it's also a nuisance to get those turf beads in your shoes. Hey, we don't need AstroTurf. Let's just Josh Harris and the clan, let's just go ahead and decide on grass. But this is huge, groundbreaking news for the Commanders organization and the District of Columbia, as the Commanders will be playing home games in the District of Columbia once again, in Washington, D.C. For a while now, they've been playing in the state of Maryland, so they've been sharing the state with the Ravens, essentially. But now they have their own place, and they live up to that name, the Washington Commanders. Of course, the Commanders will play in Maryland and Landover until 2027 when their lease at that stadium runs out. And then, of course, I'll have to figure out a plan for the years remaining until this stadium opens in 2030. That is the anticipated open date, is 2030. So we are very much in the planning stages right now of the stadium. We're coming out with renderings, initial plans. We'll dig more into the meat and potatoes and the substance of what the stadium will actually be in these years to come. But we are in the early stages of the production, the construction of this new stadium. It's exciting stuff, but we still got about 5 years to go. The stadium is expected to have the ability to host, shows, different concerts, events while the Commanders aren't playing, and that's been a huge point of emphasis in the sports industry and in facilities as organizations look for different ways to make money, to drive revenue, to have more financial resources at hand. That stadium, you host 8 home games, but that's only 8 days of the year. What else can you use this giant venue for to drive revenue? That has been a point of emphasis for years. For a lot of these new stadiums organizations are opening, and the Commanders are just the latest team organization to implement that frame of thinking. So expect concerts, expect shows, expect different events, field rentals, different ways to utilize the stadium and for the Commanders organization to make money and give back to their community with entertainment, of course. So, of course, this is all good and well. We're dreaming, we're feeling good. We've got plans, we've got hope to drive us forward. But at the end of the day, what's the price tag? How much is this going to cost? Well, the stadium overall is $4 billion, but the Commanders will allocate $2.7 billion of their own money to the construction of this building, and the District of Columbia will contribute $1.1 billion, and the rest we'll find out as time goes on, but those are the figures that we have at our disposal for today. Josh Harris and this Commanders ownership group, they have a vision for the stadium, of course. This is another trend when it comes to facilities in sports right now. There will be an entertainment district. You'll have restaurants, you'll have shops, you'll have parking garages, you'll have a multi-sport complex. But the ultimate end goal for the Commanders organization and for the District of Columbia here is for our nation's capital to host a Super Bowl. And let me tell you, that would be sick. As an American citizen, that would be sick to see a Super Bowl played in our nation's capital, in Washington, D.C. I think it would be an awesome sight for it as well. It would, the ambiance, the candor around that would be second to none. That would be a production like no other. And I can't wait for the day when we actually have a Super Bowl being played in D.C. That would be awesome. The importance of playing in D.C. again, that's huge. That's something that's going to galvanize this Commanders fan base. And I want to talk about the Commanders here to end this video. Those are all the plans we have for now for the stadium, but I want to address the symbolism, the meaning behind the plans for this new Commanders Stadium being solidified, being cemented. For the Commanders, the organization, the fan base, the District of Columbia, there's momentum. There's not potential energy anymore. There's kinetic energy. This is a team, an organization in motion. And for years, it felt so dormant, so stagnant, stale, complacent with previous ownership. Like you're just staying in the same place and even regressing. Well, it's no coincidence that ever since Josh Harris and this ownership group took this team over, things have felt different in the building, in the Commanders facility, for the organization overall. There's a different vibe. Business is being done differently. You have an owner with a maverick mindset who's always innovating and pushing this team forward, squeezing every drip of potential out of it. And you can see there's just a different sense of leadership, a different sense of culture within this organization right now. You're already seeing results. That, again, is not a coincidence. How active they've been in free agency, how intentional they've been with their draft picks, with signing free agents, drafting Jaden Daniels as your quarterback. There's a vision behind that. And again, it's no coincidence that these Commanders played in the NFC Championship last year. At the moment, it felt like a very shocking, surprising run, kind of like the Bengals back in 2021. But they belonged in that game. They belonged making that run. Because this is a different team. This Commanders team operates differently now. And now you add the confirmation of a plan for a new facility, a new stadium in 2030. I know how Commanders fans feel about FedEx Field, about playing in Landover, Maryland, playing in the state of Maryland. They don't like it. Even though it's close to home, they're not at home. They're not in the District of Columbia. It's not one of the NFL's best facilities, to say the least. And when you're a fan of a team, you want to be proud of your home venue. You want to look forward to going to those games and representing your city. And when you can do that in something that Josh Harris touts as the best stadium in the NFL when it's opened, man, there's a sense of pride that you get from that. And so, just seeing that news come out today, if you're a Commanders fan, take it in. Embrace that. Because you are moving forward as a team, as an organization, as a fan base. And it just feels so fresh, so good. And I'm so genuinely happy for y'all because, damn it, it had been a long time coming. And now, you're moving in the right direction. You're moving forward. The Commanders now have an ownership group that views the team as more than just merely an investment. It's their baby. They treat it like their prized possession. They're involved. They're active. They invest their own resources into the organization all the time, and they're obsessive about enhancing the team, the roster, the facilities, everything involved with the organization, the culture. They want it to be the best it can possibly be, and always innovating, always evolving, all the time. The plans for the new stadium in 2030 that's just the latest results of the work this ownership group has been investing. So let me know what y'all think about these new stadium plans for the Commanders in the comments section below. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.